Huh? There's no switch. Oh, because these mixers are all sliders.
They're wrong. Yeah, we're good. That door closer doesn't work. Can you fix it? If I get you a new one, will you put it on?
Yes.
That's
Complete.
huh?
Complete. No.
Hare Krishna. Too loud. Go and close it. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't automatically close. It's broken. It's broken. Or it takes a half an hour to close. I'm sorry? No. You need a new. You see, it's broken up there. It's. Get me a cartels. I forgot. Haribol, Haribol. It's good. I'll speak softly. I speak too loud anyway. I'll speak softly this time. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Good, thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana. Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Paramahansa, Padavijikacharya, Astotar, Shri Srimad Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Padavijikacharya, Astotar, Shri Srimad Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On the 16th day of January 2019 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in chapter 2 entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, text number 48, page 115. We got the Damina, you got it? All right, you let me know. We need all the chorus we can get. How are we doing here? You got it? Okay. Yogastakkura karmani sangam chakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvang yoga uchyate yogastakkura karmani sangam chakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvang yoga uchyate yogastakkura karmani sangam chakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvang yoga uchyate. Damina, go ahead. Yogastakkura karmani sangam chakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvang yoga uchyate. Yogastakkura karmani sangam chakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samadvam yoga uchyate. Yoga stuck, equipoised. Kuru, perform. Karmani, your duties. Sangam, attachment. Chaktva, giving up. Dhananjaya, O Arjun. Siddhi, asiddhyo, in success and failure. Samaha, equipoised. Bhutva, becoming. Samatvam, equanimity. Yoga, yoga. Uchyate is called. Damodar, can you go back, make an effort, make sure the door to this altar is closed, or ask him to be a little bit quiet. I know it's going to be difficult. Okay. Translation: perform your duty equipoised, O Arjun, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Purport: Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna, or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Puran that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one can satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. Hare Krishna. Okay, so here Krishna introduces this word, yoga. He hasn't really talked about yoga in this section yet. He's talked about vyavasayatmaka buddhi, getting that one-pointed determination. And he didn't mention buddhi yoga previously. But lately he hasn't talked about it. So now he's talking about yoga again. And ultimately he's going to say, as he says in the 6th chapter, when you have to be a yogi in this world. So he begins with this phrase, yoga stuck kuda karmani, being equipoised in yoga. Perform your activities and give up the attachment. This is the real key. Sangam chaktva dhananjaya. And if you give up the attachment, then you'll be equipoised in success or failure. The whole idea is that when you transfer the impetus to action to Krishna, meaning that you're serving him, he's giving you the inspiration and the duty to do whatever it is. In Arjun cases, to fight. Then your task is simply to try your best. As soon as you try your best to fulfill that duty, you're a success. Whereas in the material side, you're not a success until you get the fruit, and you can claim that fruit as your own for your own enjoyment. Now, ultimately, that's failure for the soul, but it seems like success because you're putting yourself in the position of Krishna as the enjoyer and the proprietor. But that's the whole root of our problem in the material world, this false identification as the owner and the enjoyer and the controller. So this is basic instruction here, how to begin to chip away at that great mountain of false ego that's been weighing us down and keeping us bound to this material world. So become a yogi, do your activities, but be free of the attachment. And in that freedom from attachment, that dispassion or vairagya, you should be indifferent to perfection or to success or failure in your activities. Samo bhutva. This samatvam samo is again and again repeated in the Bhagavad Gita. To be indifferent in happiness and distress, praise or blame, to see the gold and the pebble as the same. This is a symptom really of Krishna consciousness being situated on the transcendental platform. Because your sense of success, your sense of transcendental pleasure is not based on some external, something having to do with your relationship with the material world. The material world and its paraphernalia are simply aids to express your service attitude toward Krishna. That's like we have, what is this temple? It's just a wonderful facility that's been assembled by many devotees acting in concert, so that it evokes Krishna consciousness as soon as you walk in. Who's being painted on, and depicted with all of this sculpture here. A choice was made, right? Here's the demigods. When I first, right, they're all playing instruments, and I wondered about this guy over here. Why does he have his back turned to us? I get it. He's a flute player, but so that we don't want to confuse him with Krishna, they put him with his back turned. I'm sure this is a certain style that they probably got from India. If someone's going to play the flute, you want to make sure they don't think it's Krishna, so you turn them on the back. They're repeated throughout. Here he is again. So there's all kinds of culture that's been developed over the years. Here's a Hare Krishna. This is that lady. Came in, she left. Came in, she left. Horrible. Why these different forms? And of course the main thing is the deity. Who are the deities, right? And how have they been carved? All coming down from Shastra, from Guru. Carve it this way, do that, and install in a certain way. And if you keep it, you maintain it that way, then it has the effect on the mind. Just like the mantra we chant, Hare Krishna mantra, it has a certain effect on the mind, transcendental effect. We can chant something else, right? There used to be a football team down here, but you can go and do that. You can go to some club, and you can make a lot of noise, right? People love to speak. They love to shout. So they're shouting, we're shouting, but they're staying deeply enmeshed in material life, and we're transcending because of what we're singing and what we're chanting, and under what direction. So Krishna is giving us practical instruction here. The previous verse I pointed out, you have a right to perform your duty, adhikari. Adhikari means eligibility or a right. That's text 47. But you don't have a right to the fruit. Well, that itself is like a revolutionary statement. What is the whole capitalist system? Work hard, enjoy the fruits. Right? And he says, no. Ma paleshu gadachana. Well, can I at least get credit? No. Ma karma balahetuva. Do not consider yourself the cause of the activity. Well, who's the cause? I'm the cause. I'm giving you the intelligence, I'm giving you the muscles, I'm giving you the money, I'm giving the environment. All the 5 elements of action explained in chapter 18 are coming from Krishna. The super soul, the senses, the mind, the doer. So how do we become the enjoyer and the sole cause of the fruit of our action? We're just agents. And don't be attached to not doing your duty. On the material plane, if you can't enjoy the fruits and you can't even get the credit, I'm not going to work. Right now there's a big crisis here because they want them to work, but they don't want to pay them. It's creating a huge, problem in the world. Because nobody's doing it out of devotion. They're all doing it because they need the fruit so they can pay the rent because someone is, So all of this is very revolutionary statements. And then the whole idea is to be in yoga. Now, if you're in yoga, meaning, as we soon learn in the Bhagavad Gita, thinking of me, chanting my glories, remembering me, then that alone will give you pleasure. I mentioned this morning in the class this statement by Jiva Goswami, quoted in the second canto, I think it's the second canto purport, maybe the first canto, where he gives in a short phrase, really the whole basis of bhakti. And he says there, Bhajaniya Padama Purusha Sukha Matva Swasukatvam, which means that there is a worshipable person, the Supreme Personality, Bhajaniya Padama Purusha. First of all, you have to have faith in that. And then you have to learn who that person is. And so, you're being situated in bhakti means having the mentality and actually acting in such a way that you're taking your pleasure only from bringing pleasure to that Supreme Lord. Now, it's difficult because he's completely beyond the realm of our senses. We can't perceive him directly. And therefore, the whole situation or arrangement of the temple and the movement and the books and all what you do is to make Krishna available to you. It's primarily through the sound, but also through extensions of the sound. How do these temples come about? Because there's instruction. There are certain traditions of how you arrange a temple. And Srila Prabhupada carved these temples out of houses. In other words, he started with some house, started with some loft in the Bowery. It was a holy place. There's the pure devotee banging on the bongo drum and chanting Hare Krishna, and creating by the power of the name and his influence a certain sacred space that people could enter into and become purified, and their intelligence become purified enough to want to help him and to want to. And so Michael Grant said, yes, okay, I'll help. And getting the place, and he knew how to go about doing it, and then the 22nd Avenue came out. And then that also turned into a sacred space. More people were coming, and then one day Prabhupada came down from his apartment and they put out a rug, they put up pictures of Krishna, Krishna was inspiring them from within. So that enables one to act on this platform. So devotees were ready to work really hard and put out the BTG, and it was all because of love for Srila Prabhupada. That's what Prabhupada mentioned in this purport. We're on page 115, 116 here, text 48. That servant of the servant. In other words, to become a servant of Krishna, that's the advanced platform, and we want to do that. But to keep Krishna always in mind when he's invisible, when we can't see him, it's difficult. But that's why the devotee comes. He sends his pure devotee. And if you serve him, well, what do you say? He says, chant Hare Krishna. Okay. And so you chant Hare Krishna. Immediately you're in touch with Krishna. You see? You may not even know it. You don't know what's going on, but you are, because the sound has that potency. So that's the way the movement grew, and that's the engine of it, is an affection for the representative of Krishna. Shri Guru Charanarati Ese Uttamagati. We sing every morning. What does it mean, Bhakti Zach? Shri Guru Charani Rati Ese Uttamagati is the what? What that means is that this is the supreme means of advancing to the goal. Say, Shri Guru Charanarati Ese Uttamagati. This word gati means goal, or the means to the goal. And in both the songs that we sing, the Gurvashtaka, the same word is used. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada na gati kutobi. Without, that's why the long A is so important. Yasya prasada, and I think we know that here, right? I mean, all over the movement, you'll hear Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadan nagati kutobi. And even people may be thinking the meaning of it, but they're not pronouncing it right. The Yasya prasadan is the opposite meaning of Yasya aprasadan. It's like the difference between elected and unelected, or, exactly the opposite. So the in Sanskrit is the non, or the an, or the dis, or whatever prefix you want to use to mean just the opposite. Anyway, so what it says there is that by the mercy of the spirit of Krishna, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets the mercy of Krishna. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Prasada is the grace and mercy. And yasya aprasadan, without the grace of the spiritual master, there's no means of advancement. Because he's responding to the desires of his pure devotee. If his devotee says, here, with all of his faults, take this one. Accept the service. This is what's going on. So, this verse 48 is encouraging Arjuna to be a yogi, to fight without attachment. Arjuna was supremely attached. He was attached to seeing his relatives and friends alive, physically alive. He was taking the role of a conditioned soul. He was covered by Krishna's yoga maya. So here he's saying just the opposite. Sangam chakva dhananjaya. Sangam here means attachment. Be a yogi, do your duty, give up attachment, and be indifferent to success or failure, and be equipoised. That's yoga. That's the basic principle of yoga. And as Krishna, as Prabhupada says in the purport, the success or failure is in Krishna's hands. How else could Prabhupada come to America? He had absolutely no idea what he would find when he came. He had no plan, he had no money, he had no followers, he had no backers, he had nothing. Although he tried hard, there's a series of letters in America, writing to wealthy people he knew, please send money, we've got this nice building in the middle of Manhattan we're going to get. And nobody wanted to do it. Actually, one person wanted to, but he couldn't get apparently any money out of India. They didn't want to send money out of India, they wanted the money to come into India, so that was Krishna's arrangement. But it worked. And then Prabhupada quotes from this Vishnu Purana. So this is from Varnashrama Chatadata Purushena Parakpaman Vishnu Aradyate Punta Nanya Toto Shakaranam. In the conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, chapter 8, Madhya Lila, Lord Chaitanya acts as the disciple, and he keeps asking questions. And the basic question is, what is the ultimate goal of life and how to achieve it? That's it, sadhya and sadhana. Sadhya is the goal, sadhana is the way to get to the goal. So Ramananda Roy starts giving different answers. This is the first answer, is that Varnashmana Chadravata, the Padma Puran, Prabhupada says Vishnu Puran. I think he refers to it. Anyway, Vishnu Puran, Padma Puran. So that acting in Varnashram is the best way to please Vishnu. There's no other way, he says. Varnashram Chadra Purushena Parak Puman. Vishnu, by worshipping Vishnu within the Varnashram, Vishnu becomes very satisfied. There's no other way to please him. So Lord Chaitanya says, he rejects it. There's a whole series of eho bhaya. I mean, that's external. That's external. Go on. And he goes up and up and up. And eventually he gets to Gyane Priyasam Udapasya Namanta Eva, which is a prayer of Lord Brahma. He says, give up all of your own efforts to achieve knowledge and just listen carefully to the words about Krishna that are emanating from the mouth of the pure devotee. And you serve those vibrations and you worship, and then you're able to conquer Krishna, the unconquerable Lord. How can you do that? By love. You develop love. He agrees to be conquered only by love. Remember what we sing during the Kartik? What did we sing? Krishna is bound not by the ropes, but by Mother Yashoda's love. That's the idea. But within, if one is solidly committed to the varnashram, then one has to understand the meaning of varnashram, which is to please Krishna. That's the whole idea. Not just to perform your function on a material level and then have it contaminated. It becomes degraded into a caste system, and you become proud of your caste. You're born in this caste and everything, and you're exploiting the lower caste. It becomes corrupted. The whole point is to please Vishnu. Atak Shri Krishna. No, it says Atak Pumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Swanustitasya Dharmasya Sangsidhir Haditoshanam. Haditoshanam means to please Hari. So the whole point of Varna and Ashram, it performed very nicely. Swanustitasya, it means Su Anustitasya. Su means very nice. Ku means bad. Su means good. You can remember that. Su Anustitasya means performed very nicely. The perfection of that activity is to please Hari. And so when Varnashram has that as its center, then everybody can be satisfied in their own roles. The Shudras can be perfectly satisfied as long as there's plenty of kirtan, plenty of prasadam, and the gifts are being given and they're taken care of. Because your happiness is coming from within. It's not some, competition to make more money and one dominate the other. That's all material. It's demonic. So Varnashram makes sense and only really works when Krishna's in the center. Then everyone can be happy, and satisfied rather than exploiting. So that's that point is made here. All right, should we read another one? Text 49. Page 116. I'll wait for you, Zach. You got it? 249? Okay, here we go. Durena yavadam karma. Whoa, what is that? All right, did you see the misprint there? In avaratam? I don't know, my printing has T in there where it shouldn't be. Durena yavadam karma. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddhau sharanam hanvicha. Kripana palahetava. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. Purport. One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, Buddhi Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches which they acquire by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. So this gives me a chance to share my latest verse. You're going to hear me chant this one a lot because it's kind of central to our philosophy. I don't know if you've heard this one before. This is inspired by a verse by Lord Rishabdev. There's a famous verse. Prabhupada gave many lectures on this. When the book was first printed in 1975, I got a chance to work on that fifth canto. but not on this section. And he begins his instructions. Lord Rishabdev is an incarnation of Krishna. And he's about to leave for the forest and retire. And he calls all of his 100 sons together, and along with them come all great sages from all over the universe and everything, because this is very important. So he's giving these instructions. And the very first verse is like it's a cold, spray of water in the face kind of thing. Nayam deho dehabhajan loke kashtan kaman harate vidbujange tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddye jasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. So what he's saying there is that anyone who's taken the human birth, he's speaking to human beings, should not work very hard to acquire sense pleasure, which is on the level of the hogs. Rather, one should perform austerities for purification. Now, that's very important to put that caveat in there, because you can perform austerities for demonic purposes, such as Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. They were great austere, and you get power that way. But here he says, tapo divyam. Divya means divine. Tapasi means putraka, O sons. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyed, by which you will purify your existence. Well, why should I want to do that? Because from that purification, yasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam, you will be able to enjoy spiritual happiness, brahma sukha, which is anantam, endless. So the whole problem with material pleasure is that it has a beginning and an end. It's temporary. And the more intense it is, the more that the downside of misery is there. A little pleasure and a lot of suffering. That's material sense gratification. And the more intense it is, the more the suffering is. So here he says endless happiness. So this is the choice we have. So I put it into a verse. I couldn't put all the ideas, so I just based on it. Don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for hoggish happiness. Through bhakti yoga, worldly life transcend and learn to taste divine love's endless bliss. Hare Krishna. And that's what he's saying here. Durena yavadam karma. Throw it away. Dura means far away. Don't just say, okay, I'll give it up. No, kick it out, throw it away, and close the door and bury it. That's how you have to do it. Durena yavadam. Discard it at a long distance. That's the karma. It's all activities. And through buddhi yoga. Now he's back to this buddhi yoga, which is kind of a theme here. Means buddhi yoga is bhakti yoga, but it emphasizes the use of the intelligence. This is what we always have to remember. Whether we're chanting Hare Krishna, or sitting in class, or doing anything for Krishna, the intelligence is involved. And the more that the intelligence, you know the implications of what you're doing. Just like, we have our little crew that comes to Mangalartik. Practically we're a skeleton crew now, meaning that we can't get any less, so I'll have to start playing the tambourine. I can play with one hand, and I can take around and stuff. We need a minimum crew. Okay, but whatever we are, whatever we're doing, if you're in the Mangalartik, there's always words. There's always a song playing, meaning that we don't play just music, there's words. So that's intelligence. If you're thinking of the meaning, you can have all levels of awareness, of presence, of mindfulness when you're doing anything. So I like to emphasize, okay, what's the first words we hear? Samsara dava nalalita loka tranai. This is the song we sing in the morning. It's to the spiritual master. So it's painting a picture there, and it's trying to evoke our gratitude. Samsara dava nalalita loka. All the people in the world, including ourselves, are burning in the fire of samsara, birth and death. We don't realize it, but if you know the meaning, you can understand. Dava is the forest fire. Lida is suffering. Loka tranaya. And the end of the word, it's a big compound word. It's all one word. The spiritual master, unto that spiritual master who is delivering the people of the world, including me, from the burning fire of birth and death and samsara. I glorify often basis. Vande Guru Sri Chadanavinda. So how is he delivering? Just like a cloud of mercy dropping that water on the forest fire. It's a nice metaphor, Vishnu Chakravarti. Tranaya karunya ganaganatvam. Just like a cloud of mercy pouring down that water. The mercy in the form of the instructions, the holy name, the prasadam, the movement, the whole thing, the association. It's all coming from Prabhupada. So Tranaya Karunya Ganaganana Praptasya Kalyana Gunanabasya is like an ocean full of good, auspicious qualities. So it's simultaneously compared to a cloud and an ocean. In this case, the ocean is because it's so vast. So by understanding the meaning and relating it, to Prabhupada's pastimes and everything he's done, immediately the heart is uplifted, and it goes through every verse, every word. There's meaning in there, just like in the name. How many times have we heard the name is none different from Krishna? The name is Krishna. And the whole thing is to hear meticulously, listen. And just by listening, even if there's no feeling at first, it's like a thinking, feeling, willing. This is the function of the mind. Think about it. When I heard this, immediately there was a light bulb goes on. Yes, that's what the mind does. Think, feel, and will. This is what we do. So the beginning is thinking. You're not doing anything but listening or reading. And it's moving you. You're using your intelligence, buddhi yoga. And you're thinking, yes, this makes sense. I have enough faith because of my association and everything. So now I'm going to do something. And what I'm going to do? I'm going to chant Hare Krishna. I don't know what's going on. Just like you take a medicinal drug. You pop it in the air, or sometimes you shoot it with it. Somehow or other it gets in the bloodstream. You don't know what's going on. But there's an effect, hopefully a salutary effect. And you're cured, So similarly, you think something and then you do. And the doing is absent, the feeling isn't there. The feeling is what you're looking for. The ultimate goal of bhakti is that love. Now that's expressed through action, but the foundation is that feeling which manifests as tears and all these things. But that's in the future. Now you're just thinking and then you're acting. Thinking, willing. And by those two things, if you're doing it properly, performing duty, then the feeling gradually comes. You begin to feel blissful. The bad feeling goes, like fear, anxiety, depression. What am I going to do? Confusion. That can the immediate. The first installment is that it subsides. Your attachments for bad things, you should give up. That's feelings you don't want. Those are and the good feelings are gradually coming. So thinking, feeling, willing. So we're using the buddhi yoga. He mentions the next verse also, which we'll maybe deal with on Monday. Through buddhi yoga, through the intelligence, linked with Krishna, give up all the bad activities. This is a symptom of surrender. Those six things of surrender? Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya bharjanam. These are the first two. To accept the favorable things. Just like getting up in the morning before 10 o'clock, before 9 o'clock, before 8 o'clock. The earlier you can get up, the better. So I accept it. It's not easy because I'm used to getting up later, but I'm going to do it. So you screw your will, I'm going to do it. So as soon as you start getting into that routine, you're successful. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Please have a seat. If you need, you can sit in a chair. If not, you can. So you're acting there, and that's through the intelligence. And by that intelligence, shadanam, you're surrendering. And the basic principle of surrender, we're on page 116 in the second chapter. So the surrendering is like constituted, first of accepting the things that are favorable and rejecting things that are unfavorable. That's in any endeavor, especially, the spiritual life. Now, that's based on faith, right? I really want to advance in this process of learning about Krishna. And then it really gets serious. To be rakshishati vishvaso, to be confident Krishna will protect. Well, maybe I can hedge the bets a little bit, and but actually you can see the great devotees, they just rely completely on Krishna, like Prahlad, Dhruva, a little boy out in the middle of the forest somewhere, he's got to rely on Krishna, right? He's relying, it's Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But he became so powerful that by his austerities, that he was controlling the universal breathing, and all the demigods had to appeal to Vishnu, please go down and stop him. We can't breathe. But little Dhruva, because of he was so Dhruva, he was so fixed, determined. Vyavasayatmaka buddhi. There's the word buddhi again. So, by buddhi, by your will, surrender to that consciousness, surrender to Krishna. Kripana palahetava. Those who are thinking that they're the sole cause of the fruits that they enjoy, they're really misers. They're misers because they're not utilizing the human form of life. Don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for hoggish happiness. Through bhakti yoga, worldly life transcend and learn to taste divine love's endless bliss. So what is that learning to transcend? That's sadhana bhakti. At first you're not transcendental. You're naturally conditioned and you're affected by everything. But by the process you can become siddhya siddhyo samod buddha. This samaha, be equipoise in heat and cold, pleasure and cold, pleasure and pain. Krishna's instruction began with that. That was the third verse, fourth verse. He starts out by chastising Arjuna for being on the bodily platform, and all his calculations are on the calculation of bodily relationship. Hashochanam Bashotastram. You're lamenting for what's not lamentable, speaking learned words from the Vedas, but real pundits, real wise people don't do that. I never did not exist, you never did not exist, you will always exist, all these fighters will always exist. We always existed as individuals. So what's the big deal of fighting in this battle and sending them to the next? It's all auspicious. They're going to die in my presence, And Yudhishthira will be. In other words, he's trying to get him to fight. So he begins with basic principles. Then dehi nosman yada dehi, principle of transmigration, and then comes matra sparshas tu kaunteya, shitoshan sugaduka dagam apayano nijastam tatikshasabharata. This is such an important verse. It's a basic principle. It says, look, the sensations of the senses touching their sense objects produces heat and cold, pleasure and pain, all of which come and go. So you have to tolerate. And the very next verse is similar to this whole idea. That one who can tolerate all of these things without freaking out. Yaminabdhyantete purusham samaduka sukham dhiram, who can remain dhira, equipoised. Samaha, the same idea. In sukhanduka, happiness and distress. Sa amritaya vaya kalpate, such a person is eligible of actually getting liberation, of becoming transcendental to material life and going back to Godhead. So that's a basic principle, is to tolerate. And the only way to do it is to develop your tolerance muscle, so to speak, by giving up abominable activity and the attachment that goes with it, through the strength of your intelligence. The whole idea is that by coming in contact with this philosophy, and with those who are actually practicing and realizing the philosophy, one's intelligence becomes purified. You know that one of my favorite verses, the same idea, but expressed so wonderfully. Kama dinang katina katita palita dhunideshas. Tesham jata maina kadona natrapano prashanti. Utsujjaita madhyodapate sampratam labdha buddhi. So this verse by Madhavendra Puri quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Lord Chaitanya. And he's saying, in how many ways have I sought to obey the seductive demands of my wicked desires? They've shown me no mercy, yet on I've gone shamelessly trying to quench lust's unquenchable fires. But now I'm rejecting these hellish desires, for my higher intelligence now has awoken. Intelligence has now woken. O Krishna, O shelter of fearlessness, please let me serve you with faith that will never be broken. So that's what Krishna is describing here, but it was in a more ornate manner. But really that's what's going on. Life after life after life, in all different species, we've been helplessly tormented by the mind, which is filled with all kinds of desires and fears and all of these superfluous things that really aren't ours. They're just results of our absorption in the material world. It's all a question of the mind. So now he's got a little detachment. He's saying, okay, these demands, whether anger or lust or fear, all of these different things, they've been cruel taskmasters for me, slave drivers. Do this, go there, fear that, kill this person or whatever. Oh, now I'm suffering so much karma from that. So now he says, I'm giving it all up. Kama adina means lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness. These have been my cruel taskmasters. And they're never satisfied. I serve them, and they're never merciful, nor do I give them up. So now, durena yavaram. I'm casting these abominable impetuses far away. So now what? I've got to serve, because we are eternal servants, right? So what am I going to serve? They said, now I'm approaching you, my Lord. Now let me engage in your service. Please engage me in your service. You got to serve. If you're not going to serve Krishna, you're going to serve Maya, and that means suffering. That's the bottom line. So using our intelligence, we drag the mind away from its habitual service of these things, which have been frustrating for millions of lifetimes, and we with determination, will, and intelligence, but not feeling yet, because we serve Krishna. And soon enough, the feeling starts to come. That's what's happening here. And so, oh boy, it's giving me this. So, okay, it's after 8 o'clock. So we'll pick up on text 50 on Monday and continue this wonderful chapter. There's a lot of very interesting verses to come, so don't miss it. Okay, we are going to read Krishna book from my library here. You want to read Nectar Devotion next week? No, we haven't read it. Yeah, it's my fault. All right, we have a request for Nectar Devotion. We are in Putana. You remember Putana? This is a very exciting chapter. So Putana was the very first demon. We can say a demoness that Krishna killed. So she's actually been killed here. No, not yet. So just as Yashoda was given liberation from the material world, Putana was also given liberation. So this is actually an amazing event, because she's, when you think about it, it's kind of blood-curdling just to think who this witch is. She specialized in killing little babies and drinking their blood. What could be worse than that? And yet, Krishna, as we see, how he killed her. He sucked the milk out and he sucked her life out. And then he awarded her a position in the spiritual world as a nurse. And so Uddhava was amazed. He says, well, where am I going to go to find anyone more merciful than him, more compassionate than Krishna? Anyway, we'll go on. As Yashoda was given liberation in the material world, Putana was also given liberation. When the baby Krishna closed his eyes, Putana took him on her lap. She did not know that she was holding death personified. If a person mistakes a snake for a rope, he dies. Similarly, Putana had killed so many babies before meeting Krishna, and she mistook him to be like them. But now she was accepting the snake that would kill her immediately. When Putana was taking baby Krishna on her lap, both Yashoda and Rohini were present. But because she was so beautifully dressed and showed motherly affection toward Krishna, they did not forbid her. They could not understand that she was a sword within a decorated case. Putana had smeared a very powerful poison on her breasts, and immediately after taking the baby on her lap, she pushed her breastly nipple within his mouth. She was hoping that as soon as he would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna very quickly took the nipple in anger. He sucked the milk poison along with the life air of the demon. In other words, Krishna simultaneously sucked the milk from her breast and killed her by sucking out her life. Krishna is so merciful that because the demon Putana came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled her desire and accepted her activity as motherly. But to stop her from further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. And because the demon was killed by Krishna, she got liberation. As Krishna pressed her breast extremely hard and sucked out her very breath, Putana fell down on the ground, spread her arms and legs, and began to cry, "Oh child, leave me, leave me!" She was crying loudly and perspiring, and her whole body became wet. As she died screaming, there was a tremendous vibration on the earth and in the sky, on the upper and lower planets, and in all directions, and people thought that thunderbolts were falling. Thus the nightmare of the Putana witch was over, and she assumed her real feature as a great demon. She opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. She fell exactly as Vritrasura did when struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. The long hair on her head was scattered all over her body. Her fallen body extended up to 12 miles and smashed all the trees to pieces, and everyone was struck with wonder upon seeing this gigantic body. Her teeth appeared just like plows, and her nostrils appeared just like mountain caves. Her breasts appeared like small hills, and her hair was a vast reddish bush. Her eye sockets appeared like blind wells, and her 2 thighs appeared like 2 banks of a river. Her 2 hands appeared like 2 strongly constructed bridges, and her abdomen seemed like a dried-up lake. All the coward men and women became struck with awe and wonder upon seeing this, and the tumultuous sound of her falling shocked their brains and ears and made their hearts beat strongly. When the gopis saw little Krishna fearlessly playing on Putana's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up. Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and the other elder gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hooves of the cows was thrown all over his body. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow, the Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed with the urine of the cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of the cows. After this purificatory process, the gopis, headed by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, chanted the names of Vishnu to give Krishna's body full protection from all evil influences. They washed their hands and feet and sipped water 3 times, as is the custom before chanting mantra. They chanted as follows: My dear Krishna, may the Lord who is known as Aja protect your legs. May Lord Maniman protect your knees. So they're thinking Krishna's knees protection from these other Vishnu forms when he's actually the source of the Vishnu form. But may Maniman protect your knees. May Lord Yagya protect your thighs. May Lord Achyuta protect your upper waist. May Lord Hayagriva protect your abdomen. May Lord Keshava protect your heart. May Lord Isha protect your chest. May Lord Surya protect your neck. May Lord Vishnu protect your arms. May Lord Urukrama protect your face. May Lord Ishvara protect your head. May Lord Chakradhar protect your front. May Lord Gadadhar protect your back. May Lord Madhusudan, who carries a bow in his hand, protect your right side. May Lord Arjuna protect your left side. May Lord Urugaya, with his conch shell, protect you on all sides. May the personality of Godhead Upendra protect you from above. May Lord Tarksha protect you on the ground. May Lord Haladar protect you from all sides. May the personality of Godhead known as Rishikesh protect all your senses. May Lord Narayan protect your life airs. May the Lord of Shvetadvip, Narayan, protect the core of your heart. May Lord Yogeshwara protect your mind. May Lord Prishnigarbha protect your intelligence. And may the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect your soul. While you're playing, may Lord Govinda protect you from all sides. And when you're sleeping, may Lord Madhava protect you from all danger. When you're walking, may the Lord of Vaikuntha protect you from falling down. And when you are sitting, may Lord Narayan give you all protection. And while you're eating, may the Lord of all sacrifices give you all protection. Thus Mother Yashoda chanted different names of Vishnu to protect child Krishna's different bodily parts. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced that she should protect her child from different kinds of evil spirits and ghosts, namely Dakinis, Yatudanis, Kushmandas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Vinayakas, Kotaras, Revatis, Jeshtas, Putanas, Matrikas, Unmadas, and similar other evil spirits, who cause persons to forget their own existence and give trouble to the life heirs and the senses. Sometimes they appear in dreams and cause much perturbation. Sometimes they appear as old women and suck the blood of small children. But no such ghosts or evil spirits can remain where there is chanting of the holy name of God. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of the Vedic injunctions about the importance of cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore, she took all shelter in the cows and the name of Vishnu just to protect her child, Krishna. She recited all the holy names of Vishnu so that he might save the child. Vedic culture has taken advantage of keeping cows and chanting the holy name of Vishnu since the beginning of history, and persons who are still following the Vedic ways, especially the householders, keep at least 12 cows and worship the deity of Vishnu, who's installed in their home. Persons who are advancing in Krishna consciousness should take instruction from this pastime and also be very much interested in cows and the holy name of Vishnu. We've run out of time. So we'll pick up there a week from Monday? Okay. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, there is a Vishnu form named Govinda. No, it's just a designation. If you read the Monday Leela, you'll see there's the cover of the Bhagavatam 1.1. This is a bunch of Vaikuntha counts of Vishnu. They each have different names.
Yeah, okay, so you
And that's mentioned, the different orders.
yeah, that's good.
That's mentioned in the CC. 24 combinations. So there's 24 different maybe
One day you come with us.
So it doesn't.
See, you will come.
The Govinda is the Vishnu form.
Can't help.
Is Gadadhara meaning Gadadhara?
Yeah, why is it Gita? That's your.
Yeah.
Or
What does Gadadhara mean?
Yeah, Gadadhara definitely means holder of the club, but why is it long? Krishna, Krishna. All right, how can we do this? Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Did I leave my pillow again? Hare He's not right now, but he probably You're going to it? Yeah.
If somebody can be.
Did you try to contact him already?
No, I don't have his number.
No, but you can. But you know, he won't be able to.
He won't?
No.
So
You need to contact them directly. But it's so late, for the festival.
But the thing is that, just today, anywhere goes very on this. If somebody, if any devotee,
Nobody is there. But he's coming back. He's there now, he doesn't have a home. So we can try to do that. Yeah, but you have to, do you know Jeshlu? Do you know what Jeshlu? Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Himati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namah Uravani Pracharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Harimbo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Mo, Krishna Krishna, Hari Mo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Bhagavad Church Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON BBD Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Bhagavad Church Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad, Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Chukaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Baba Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mahi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mahi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Lada Dayine Hiranyakashipo Vakshaha Ashilatankana Karaye Hiton Sringa Paraton Sringo Yato yato yamitato nasingha Ambahi nasringo ridae nasringo Nrsimha mading sharanang prapaje Tavakara kamalavare nakam Adbhuta shringa Andalita hiranyakashipu Tanum bringa Kesavaprita Narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Tavakara kamalavare Nakamadbhuta shringa Andalita hiranyakashipu Tanam bringa Kesavaprita Narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Jai Nrsimhadev, 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 Jai Nrsimhadev. Jaya Nara Hare, Nara Hare, Nara Hare, Jaya Nara Hare. Sri Bhagavan Ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.